Welcome back to The Full View. Let's talk about trains now. Rail services are often the backbone of modern transport networks. But in South Africa, both tracks run by Transnet affecting cargo and PRASA affecting passenger rail fell into disrepair. Stats SA found that 80% of rail commuters abandoned trains between 2013 and 2021 as corruption, misadministration, crime, the deterioration of the tracks, all leading to the cancellation of services. Well, is the trend reversing? The Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa is resuming the Shosholoza Meyl train service from Johannesburg to Durban and Cape Town after a 2-year pause. And we're now joined in studio by spokesperson for PRASA, that's Andiswa Makanda. Great to have you with us, Andiswa. Let's start with why a 2-year pause. What was happening in 2021?
I think we had to suspend the long-distance services because of the infrastructure damage that we'd suffered during lockdown. And, you know, there was extensive vandalism on the network. We also had issues of train sets availability and availability of reliable locomotives. And so now the lines in the long distance network belong to Transnet, and we've been in conversations with Transnet to see how quick can they restore some of the network so that we can run passenger rail services to the various destinations interprovincially. And so it is because of the talks with Transnet are we able to restore these services.
Okay, and it's in time for Christmas. I mean, are tickets on sale right now for people who want to go from Joburg to Durban or Joburg to Cape Town?
Yes, no, bookings are open. We are receiving a high volume of calls. People are interested to travel.
So there's excitement.
There is excitement. There's a buzz. Everyone can't wait to get on the train. We did resume the Johannesburg to Musina and Johannesburg to Queenstown last year, 2022, and now we're just adding the Durban to Cape Town. People have been asking that when are you returning the Johannesburg to Cape Town, because we cannot afford the transport costs to get to Cape Town. And so eventually we were able to talk to Transnet, and now we are able to resume that service to Cape Town.
So one of the big benefits you've put forward is costs. So looking at Durban, I think the tickets start at 430 Rand. So you don't have to drive yourself and cover the cost of petrol to Durban. You don't have to get into a taxi, possibly pretty squashed, going all the way to Durban. I mean, talk about conditions in the train for somebody holding the cheapest ticket, say.
No, definitely. For Durban, the ticket is actually 170 Rand.
Sorry, I'm mixing up. You're right. It's Cape Town.
It's Cape Town. That's 430. So Durban, for 170 Rand, you get the economy class, which is the sitter. It more or less looks like a bus, if I may describe in such a way that you're sitting in the way that you would sit in a luxury bus coach. And then there's the tourist class, which is around 360 Rand. There you get your own cabin or a coach with the sleeper couch that you can convert into a bed. You have your own privacy. We've got hot showers. We have dining lounges, dining coaches where people can have their meals. We do offer food on the trains, but people are welcome to bring their own food on the journey. And we encourage people to bring books, board games, bring your friends, you know, travel in a group, bring family along. It's a great experience. And I think for a very long time, the people have been saying that they haven't been able to go home because of the high cost of traveling. They had to separate with their children, and they would love to, they want to travel with their children, but they cannot because of the escalating costs of traveling.
Yeah. I mean, 170 Rand makes it accessible. And pretty quick. And there used to actually be, well, there still is, I guess, a bit of glamour around rail travel, and it's a great way, I think, to see the countryside. But we live in South Africa, so I have to ask, is it safe?
No, that's a good question. I think everyone is concerned about their safety, and you know, people talk about incidences of security. We are increasing the capacity for security. We are beefing up security. We have security guards on board the train platforms and our stations. We really take the security of our passengers very seriously. We do have also sometimes a security on guard, you know, to patrol inside the trains, because we do want to have an enhanced security train to to Durban and Cape Town. So security is definitely there.
I mean, I'm interested. There were reports that informal settlers had basically were camping out on the tracks. Can you tell us how Transnet dealt with clearing the tracks in the first place? And the vandalism you spoke about, it sounded like a free-for-all at one stage.
If you're talking about the encroachment, that is in the central line, that's definitely a PRASA line. So in terms of the commuter rail infrastructure or the urban metro infrastructure, we own that. I suppose you're referring to the central line, where there is the relocation program put in place so that we can relocate the people living on the central line. But at the same time, we've been able to engage with the communities to allow for the services to return on the central line. And so we were able to open from Cape Town to Langa and Langa to Nyanga when people thought it was not possible with the encroachment, with the occupation on the central line. But we were able to work with the communities while the permanent relocation progress or program is set in motion, but work is happening there.
Let's end there, because I guess the takeaway here is that the trend of deterioration and people not being able to use the rail, the trains, because the tracks just were an eyesore, that is reversing, but slowly. So let's look at some of the stats. I think this report came out saying at one point we were at nearly 50 million passenger trips per month. 2013, a survey showed 49.2 million. And then in 2023, I think it was, 10 years later, 3.2 million. So a drop of more than 40 million passenger trips. How do you go from around 3 now and build it back up to 50 million? And how long is that going to take?
Yeah, you know, the story of rail in South Africa, passenger rail, is quite an interesting one, where you had a period of no commuter rail because of the vandalism and the destruction of the infrastructure. But I must tell you that we are recovering, we're restoring corridor by corridor, because it's thousands and thousands of kilometers of network that was devastated, and we're recovering. We've got 40 lines that we're operational in. We've recovered to date 27 of the 40. We want by the end of this financial year to have recovered at least 80%, including the stations. We've fixed over about 270 stations, have been refurbished and rehabilitated to basic functionality. So there's a lot of work happening. And in terms of passenger numbers, you remember we started the recovery progress in 2021. And when we restored the train services, we've seen that the numbers are starting to come back, the passengers are starting to come back. And to date, we can count it's 60 million that we've transported, and not the 3 million. And just in this financial year, I think we're over 19 million, just in the 2022-2023.
Okay.
Sorry, 2023-2024 financial year, we are over 19 million. And at our peak, we were at 500 million. At some point, yeah, and we're trying to get back.
Ms. Makanda, we have to stop. So yes, you're talking about customers rather than customer trips, but you're saying an incredible recovery is underway. We're out of time now, but I think this is worth a conversation, because it sounds like there is hope, and well done. So you can actually book now to go from Johannesburg to Durban or Johannesburg to Cape Town on the Shosholoza Meyl. It is back. That was Andiswa Makanda, spokesperson for PRASA.